Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is a video clip that has gone viral with Russell Brand on Real Time with Bill Maher completely shellacking and destroying an MSNBC analyst. Wait till we get to that clip. But before we jump into all that, make sure you head over to our brand new website, baldbrad.com, which is a one-stop shop for y'all. Link is in the description. You can catch our podcast there. You can watch our YouTube videos, read our blog posts. We got it all for you. And if you didn't hear the big reveal over the weekend, we also got a book launching March 13th on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble's titled Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Folks, this book completely obliterates and destroys the progressive left and the Democrat Party's ideology because it is their ideology that is going to destroy this country from the inside out, much in the same way of how the Greeks sent in the Trojan horse during the Trojan War to destroy Troy from the inside out. The progressive left's ideology is going to do the same thing with the United States unless we recognize it and equip ourselves with the information we need to dismantle and destroy their narrative, their ideology, and the book does just that. If you love Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Andrew Klavan, Matt Walsh, the guys from the Daily Wire, if you love Charlie Kirk, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, all the big conservatives, Republicans, you're going to love this book, folks. It's a must read. You could buy the ebook now and pre-order a paperback and hardcover version as well by heading over to Barnes & Noble's or Amazon or clicking the link on our website. Make sure you pre-order yourself a book today. Again, it releases March 13th. And if that wasn't enough, we also got a store here for y'all. We got merch. If you go again to our store on baldbrad.com, you can get yourself a t-shirt right now. These shirts are awesome. They're awesome quality and they look really sick, folks. We got our own image. We got our own setup. We got mugs. We got hats. We got stickers. We got hoodies. We got it all, folks. Head over to baldbrad.com if you haven't already. Get yourself the book. Get yourself some merchandise, some swagger, and look good and look like an American patriot because let's be honest, folks, Bald Brad Show viewers are American patriots and we uphold the values of this great nation. Again, head over to baldbrad.com or get yourself a copy at Amazon or Barnes & Noble's. And with that being said, our first segment of the day, again, is Russell Brand on Real Time with Bill Maher completely destroying. I mean, you could literally say the same thing about MSNBC, of which he's an analyst of. Their propaganda for the progressive left and the Democrat Party. Sure, maybe they're not on the campaign trail standing on a stage with the President Joe Biden, for example, doing speeches for him, but they're still rubbing his shoulders and massaging his feet each and every week in the same way that CNN is. And the difference between CNN and MSNBC is at least MSNBC sits there and pushes their bias out there and lets everybody know that they're progressive left, or at least they're of the left with the Democrat Party. And Fox News does the same thing. Fox News is open about their bias. So I don't understand what the problem is of Fox News going out and campaigning or at least doing some sort of work with Donald Trump in the same way that MSNBC does. At least, again, both sides are open about it. The problem with CNN is they're not open about it. They think that they're an unbiased news network. Still to this day, they say that they're unbiased. Every news network has a bias. Sure, you could say every news network is a propaganda machine for somebody because there's always a bias within there. But you're just going to sit there and target Fox News for this or that. And by the way, there was election fraud. Let's be honest. There was. And you don't have to hire an investigation firm to do that. You can literally just pull out the voter registration rolls yourself and look at a line of property and go visit that property. And the person probably doesn't live there. You could literally do that yourself. And people did. Steven Crowder of Louder with Crowder actually did that. He sent his interns out. There was no property there. The people actually didn't even live there. We have like actual confirmation that dead people voted. So of course there was lies. There was fraud involved. There's fraud involved in every election. The real question was, what was the magnitude of that fraud and supplying the evidence of that fraud? And we never got there because it never went through the Senate. And interesting enough, the day that was being heard by Ted Cruz or given by Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate, you had the January 6th debacle take place that actually stopped it. Ted Cruz in his book, what was it? It was either One Vote Away or How the Left has been destroying the justice system. I think it's his new one. He actually talked about it. He talked about how he had all these senators lined up to sit there and push this forward to actually investigate all this stuff. And then the January 6th event happened where he had to get removed off the floor, right? Go into safety, safe quarters. And then when he came back, the senators that actually said they would push this forward were no longer with it. So there was election fraud. It just never got really investigated as you would investigate something. But, this clearly this guy has a bias. But, again, that's just propaganda. My question for him would have been, are you a propaganda machine then for MSNBC and the Democrat Party, Joe Biden and the left? We'll see what Russell Brand has to say.
They knew that.
It's here, and we constantly see this from people of the left. I mean, we saw it literally with Malcolm Nance and Ben Shapiro, where the idea of critical race theory and the definition of it changed in real time. No pun intended, because we're watching real time with Bill Maher. But what's interesting here is, again, he was talking about fraud, and now he switched it to a stolen election. Those are two different things. One can actually believe that there was fraud and that the election wasn't stolen. There's a certain level of fraud in every election that's taking place. To say there isn't is just asinine. You could have a small level of it, or you can have a high level, and that's the purpose of investigating the stuff, to see what level of fraud was instituted in an election. And depending on that fraud, the level of materiality in that fraud, would that actually sway the election? Would there be a differential in terms of electoral votes? That's something we would need to analyze and actually look at. But, doing all these just recounts, there was nothing wrong. Everything was clear cut, crystal clear. It's an asinine statement. But now, because it doesn't work for his narrative, because Russell Brand just slapped him upside the head, now he's going to switch it. Well, it's election fraud. It's going from election fraud to ultimately a stolen election. Now we see really what's going on here is the goalpost is actually just moving for him, because he needs to cater to his argument, make it fit, make it work. He was going to come back with some sort of stupid answer, and there you have it. The MSNBC guy, every time they lose an argument of the progressive left, now it goes into basically characterization. Oh, you've only been on the show once, basically taking a jab at Russell Brand's ego and his popularity. Well, you only been on there once, big bleeping deal. It's so typical. There's no actual substance to the guy's argument. He just has to sit there and attack Russell now. Gave him an example, and he completely disregards it. Well, non-response. It's amazing how he asks for something specific, so Russell Brand gives him something specific, and then it just completely gets shellacked and just thrown out the window. Shellacking coming from Russell Brand, but thrown out the window by the MSNBC analyst. And if you notice, he said, hey, you know what? Here's an example of Joe Rogan talking about ivermectin, and you guys said it was a horse tranquilizer. Don't do this, don't do that. Well, here's actually a clip of Russell Brand on Joe Rogan, not talking about the same thing, but just talking about the diversity and just kind of how the president of the United States has mentally just fallen off his rocker. So let's at least see Russell Brand here later on Joe Rogan's podcast here, again, talking about diversity as well as just the shenanigans that are going on in the White House.
Bizarre how far he's deteriorated. And when I was talking about it during the election, and people were like, I was actually talking about with Eric Weinstein, and he was like, I can't vote for Biden. And he goes, I can't vote for Trump. And I go, I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden. Just because I think with Biden, he's gone. He's gone. You're going to be relying on his cabinet. And I knew his cabinet would be this fucking sideshow of diversity, and which is exactly what it is. I mean, that one person who stole all the women's clothes, that Sam Brinton, we highlighted on the podcast yesterday, that's a diversity hire. You just said, oh, look at this. A man who dresses like a woman and has a beard and a mustache, but also wears lipstick. This is perfect for us. I don't give a fuck what this guy's good at or bad at. I don't give a fuck what their credentials are. This makes us look like we're inclusive. This makes us look like we're on the right side. So let's hire this person. And you can't have those kind of people running a Ben and Jerry's. You certainly can't have those kind of people running the fucking most powerful government the world's ever known. It's nuts. It's nonsense.
He's not wrong. Again, all diversity hires, okay? And not saying they are not equipped to do the job, but a lot of them are not equipped to do the job. I hate to say it, but they're not. They were hired because of their skin color or based on their sexuality of what their preference is, whether that's being gay or LGBTQ plus elemental P part of a community. That's why they were hired to fit some sort of diversity quota, not based on here, not based on actually your work experience or what you can and can't do. And a prime example, moving into our last segment of the day, we have a diversity hire right here as press secretary to the leader of the free world. And we've all seen how she answers the questions. She's never clear. She's going to say she's clear. She reads through her binder, never answers their questions. The press is fully known for a long time that they don't get their questions answered. It actually got brought up in this press briefing of her not answering questions once again. I heard some rumor out there that she's being sued by one of the reporters for not taking questions or something along those lines. So it's a bunch of shenanigans. But here we have Peter Doocy of Fox News getting a multiple of questions in here. And just watch how she answers it, folks. It literally goes hand in hand with what Joe Rogan was talking about. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Thank you. I have a question about the Willow Project in Alaska. What's more important to President Biden, improving energy security or reducing fossil fuels?
So, first of all, it doesn't have to be one or the other, right?
Well,
we can try to be both.
In 2019, I guarantee you we're going to end fossil fuel. So this project would just be dead, right?
So here's what I can say about
Did you see her facial reaction when he brought up the exact quote of the president? I mean, that's what he literally campaigned on when he was running for president. We're going to remove the fossil fuel industry. And he's proven that's exactly what he wants to do. And now that things are going south because a lot of people are paying up the wazoo here at the gas pump, regardless of what state you're in, and shipping stuff to China, of which Hunter Biden supposedly has investments in from our petroleum reserve. That's for national or natural disasters here in the United States. So you can help those localities and states get off their feet. No, we're selling it to China. Our stuff. We're going to China with it. So now that gas prices have gone through the roof, our standard of living has gone through the roof, our inflation has gone through the roof. I mean, everything is just ridiculous right now. Now he's backpedaling, and that's why you saw at the State of the Union going, oh, well, we need gas for another 10 years or so. Yeah, no bleep, Sherlock. We're going to need it for a lot longer than that. You can't just take an entire nation off of fossil fuels in the matter of like 10 years. But this is the guy running the show. And then the people that he hires are just like him, a bunch of idiots running the show. I mean, he literally sat there on live television in front of our entire Congress going, I think we need gas for another 10 years. Yes, we do, you idiot. But this is what he's going to push here. And then there's people out there. I mean, this is the most remarkable thing. Not the fact that a dollar that doesn't have this working up here said such a knucklehead thing, but there's actual knuckleheads out there going, oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. We should get rid of the fossil fuel industry. And that's why people like AOC get elected that sit there and say that the world is going to get destroyed in 12 years, that we're all going to be dead and gone, and pushes this Green New Deal shenanigans of getting rid of all our vehicles, airplanes, boats, and ships, and all this stupid stuff out there. It's going to cost trillions of dollars, more money than we can even actually have as a planet, to sit there and pay for all these things somehow because she doesn't know math. I don't even know how she was a bartender, by the way, if she can't even sit there and do math. I guess you could serve a beer. There's no thinking involved in that either. But, it's a theme with the Democrat Party. Hiring a bunch of people that don't know what the hell they're doing or talking about. And now we're dealing with this issue here of him having to backpedal on his messaging because he realized that he was wrong for so many years, but he has to appease the woke mob. He has to appease to the Democrat Party and the progressive left, which is why she's going to sit here and go, well, let me be clear on this. I got to talk like this or talk this way, without actually basically answering Peter Ducey's question. That
the president did meet with the Alaska delegation last week at the White House. He always appreciates me speaking and meeting with the full delegation, understand what their concerns are. So I'll leave it there. And when it comes to that specific decision, that's something that the Secretary of Interior is going to make. So I'm not going to get ahead of where she's going to be. But the president has met with the delegation, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay, and I'm
just going to leave it there because, Peter, you completely shellacked me and the president. We don't have a comment. Diversity hire. Exactly what Joe Rogan was talking about. She's not equipped to do this job. Everybody in that room thinks so. And there's some Democrats in there and progressive left. There's obviously conservatives, Republicans in that room as well. They all think that she's not capable of doing this job. They sit there every single day and have to listen to this lady not answer their questions. Can you imagine going to work every day? It's not the only thing they do, right? Some of these people have their own show. Some of them write articles and do all these things. They're hardworking people, and they have to sit there, go through security, right? Sit down, wait for this lady that's late half the time, and never get their questions answered. I mean, to walk in there knowing, why even effing bother asking a question with this diversity hire that's not going to answer it?
Subject: how worried should Americans be about China spying on them here at home?
And what do you mean specifically, Peter?
Well, there were the Chinese spy balloons, and now there are these Chinese spy cranes. The Wall Street Journal is comparing them to Trojan horses in use at 80% of U.S. ports.
Guys, let me know in the live chat right now. I'm in there with you. Do you think she's going to answer it, or do you not think she's going to answer it? So let's just give it a moment here. If you're watching not live right now, but watching later, let me know in the comment section. Do you think she's going to answer it, or do you think she's going to give some cockamamie response to this whole thing? So answer, cockamamie response, non-answer. I think we know which direction it's going to go.
So let me first say that what the American people could be assured of is that this president is going to protect them and making sure that we put our national security first when it comes to anything that they feel could threaten that. And the president.
You put our national security first. And by the way, if you said that she didn't answer it, you're absolutely correct. Ding, ding, you won. Put our national security first. You literally watch a spy balloon take off from mainland China fly all the way across the United States, and then you took it out. What are you talking about? You've allowed terrorists to pour across the southern border. And then you had your DHS secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, go, I don't know where they are, Brett. When he was on Brett Breyer's show at Fox News, he didn't know what was going on with it. He was actually asked Congress the day before, and he still didn't know what was going on with it. He had no response. Oh, there's terrorists? Yes, you knucklehead, there's terrorists pouring across the border. Oh, there's massive amount of fentanyl that's killing Americans, American children, by the way. You have violent gang members coming across the border, sex trafficking. All this stuff is taking place, and she's going to say national security is our number one issue. You've had more people come across the border than any sitting president in American history, lady. In American history, there's more illegal aliens here than like multiple population of our states. I mean, since Joe Biden's been in office, there's more illegal aliens that have poured across the border than the population of 2 of our states. There's over 22 million illegal aliens here right now, presently in the United States. But national security is our number one issue. Yeah, sure.
Has shown that. He's shown that over and over again.
Sure he has.
So on the cranes, don't have any comment on that specific reporting. I would refer you to the Department of Transportation and the Department of Defense, who've been tasked with Congress to study this particular issue. The National Security Council, in close coordination with the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Defense, Coast Guard, and members of the Intelligence Committee have been actively working to address potential cyber vulnerabilities across the marine transportation system. This includes enhanced coordination across the federal government and engagement with key stakeholders in the maritime industry. And just last month, the administration issued a worldwide maritime port vulnerabilities advisory underscoring the potential threats posed by foreign manufactured port equipment. So again, this is something that the president takes very seriously and will always take action to.
You can't say that he's taking it seriously in your response and then say that you don't have any comment on it. You don't have any answers. That's not very serious then. How serious are you taking something if it keeps happening? I mean, how much are you going to let the Chinese just continually spy on us, whether it's cybersecurity threats, whether it's balloons, or utilizing our cranes, over 80% of at least construction or whatever sites Peter Ducey's speaking of here. I'm going to lose it, man. I'm going to lose it with this lady, I'm telling you. It drives me freaking batty.
Make sure we protect our national security.
And if this is a Department of Transportation lead, does Secretary Buttigieg have experience with
it's not just the Department of Transportation, it's also the Department of Defense.
Yeah, and you're the executive branch that's supposedly supposed to protect American citizens, but yet you're going to let the Chinese run roughshod over our entire country, gather whatever intelligence they need. It's, you guys, you know, I try to hold it together here because it is so frustrating. But again, one of the main themes of today's show is just seeing the Biden administration, the Democrat Party, and the push for all this woke ideology, which is also seeped into our military. There's some whistleblowers coming out and just saying how the destruction of the military has been taking place because of this woke ideology, all these diversity stuff they're pushing, diversity, equity, inclusion in our school system, in our military, in our government, just as a whole. I mean, our society is literally crumbling because of this ideology. And that's why you have people like Michael Knowles, the guys from the Daily Wire, Fox News, and others pushing back on this woke ideology because it is destroying our social fabric. Sure, you could tear our social fabric, and over time you can repair and mend that. But once it's totally broken, it's really tough to ever come back from it. And it kind of goes in hand with what Ronald Reagan was talking about, that ultimately our freedoms and our liberties are just one generation away from expiring and never coming back again. And they don't understand this. The Democrat Party doesn't understand this. They think diversity hires are a good way of at least hiring people to do a job of which they're not equipped to actually do. It has nothing to do with race, by the way. It has nothing to do with her being gay or lesbian or whatever she is, trans. I have no idea. I don't care. You're either able to do the job or you're not able to do the job. And I think it's very clear that she was hired, and they've been outspoken about this because she's a woman and a part of the LGBTQ community. This is why she was hired to do this job, and she's just not equipped to do it. You can be pissed all you want. You can call somebody a racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe. She is not good at this. This is literally the worst press secretary we have ever seen. Jen Psaki is better than this lady. She sucks. She should be fired immediately. She is not worth $180,000 a year plus pension and benefits, folks. Not even close. But hey, you know what? She's still getting paid for it. She's still riding that train of suckling at the government's teat, sucking off the taxpayer here, of not actually doing her job and answering people's questions. She could be very clear, but she decides not to be. Either that or she's just trying to mimic the President of the United States about not being clear, fumbling through her words, not having coherent and cognizant thoughts. I can go on forever and rant about this, folks. Hey, make sure you check out our join tab in the description below, folks. Go ahead and click on that. Again, there's opportunities that arise from that. Check it out. Support the show. Clearly, we need to support getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. We got an election coming up. We need to build the channel so that when the election comes up, we do have a voice here in the Bald Brad Show to get our thoughts and our opinions out there to new people. Expose the Democrat Party. Expose Joe Biden, which is what we're doing here. That is why we cover so many White House press briefings, to expose their lies so that we can move those independents over to our side, conservative Republican side, and vote for Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. Somebody great that will make America great again. Put America first, because the Democrat Party is not going to do that. And lastly, make sure you check out our book on Amazon.com. If you go to our website, baldbrad.com, you could pre-order a paperback version today. It comes out March 13th, or you can just buy the ebook and read that today as well. Again, you're supporting a conservative business like myself here at the Bald Brad Show. All your help and support would be greatly appreciated. You guys are freaking awesome. And folks, we'll be back here tomorrow on the Bald Brad Show.